Good morning and welcome to Morning Coach today. I am so glad you're with us. Hey, it's JB. It's Monday, ready to take it on, episode 5,666. Yeah, it's that number. 666. I'm an Iron Maiden fan. I'll admit it. The number of the beast. A little trivia here, okay, as we get started on this April 14th. My address growing up, for those of you, obviously I'm a metaphysician. That's what I studied my PhD in, business. But when I was younger, I was into the 80s heavy metal scene and Slayer and Bathory and all these other groups, right? So 666 is the number of the beast. Many of you will hear that song playing in your head from years ago, but it's funny to talk about that because it's 666. Anytime you see that, you're like, wow, maybe that's going to be a negative day. It's going to be a good day, I'll tell you that, but it's just 5666, so it's kind of funny. But I grew up in 1666 Dawn Avenue. It's just kind of funny to think about. In the 80s, we used to joke about it, right? 1666, Aleister Crowley the Beast. So the 80s music's coming out this morning. For those of you younger, this might just be totally over your head. Satanic Panic of the 80s. I was a Dungeons & Dragons guy, so it was kind of a crazy thing. So that 666 was a big deal in the 80s. So anyways, we're at 566. Sorry to sidebar today. Having some fun. We got a good week planned for you here at Morning Coach. Obviously, before you get started, hit your morning ritual up. Take some time for self-care. Listen to the Coach Cast. Really important. We're getting that as many days as you can. 3-4 days is fantastic. 5 days, you're a superstar. 6 and 7 days, I don't even have a category. Like, rock on. You're doing great. We then want to use our planner to get organized, or use a whiteboard or a piece of paper or something to get the perspective and priorities. Get the right mindset coming in, and then have that right priority. And people continue to ask me, well, where do I find what I need to work on? Well, make sure you have that right mission. What are we going to do by the end of this year? And the vision, who are you going to become? Very important things. I'm working on the 27th here in a few weeks. I've got my marathon to see if the vision I have of becoming a Boston qualified marathoner, and I'm not a runner, right? Never was. Now I guess I am. But if I can do that, that's the vision. I want to be a 3-hour and 30-minute marathoner, Boston qualified. That's the vision of what I'm working on. I want to be a sub 25K. Last week, I ran one in 2021. I did break sub 20 earlier, but I had a little bit of a slow, hilly, windy, cold mid. And my 6:30, I did 6:30, 6 minutes and 30 seconds to start, 6 minutes and 50 seconds the second mile, 6:30 the third. So I was coming back strong, but something happened in that mid mile to keep me below sub 20. But I'm still happy with that. Remember, goals are like trajectories. And, I'm much better off having them than not. So again, stepping back, when we do our priorities in the morning, let's focus on what are we trying to accomplish? What is our mission? As I've mentioned before here, 800 new people by the end of the year in Morning Coach, building the best system in the world, more personalization, more structure. We're building all that. And I thank you as we're building that going into next year's planning session. But really building amazing things. And as I say that, make sure you check the news because I'm bringing all kinds of stuff into the community. Ready to go, though. Ready to go this week again. So priorities, get that morning routine in place, and make sure your prioritization is based on a mission and your vision. Just a quick reminder there. Then we want to, stop by the community once in a while, stop by the new hub, stop by everything we're doing. Love to have you in the site. Now, this week, we're getting into the idea of living and thriving in capitalism. Okay, before we get started, JB here. Just want to tell you about MorningCoach.com. You got to come over and check it out every day with energy with me. If you get my energy, great. If you don't, then it's probably not for you. But if you're ready to take it on, get amazing things going. I've been doing this for 20 years. Thousands of people around the world changing their lives. We've got a couple programs for you. You can find those out at MorningCoach.com. But it's really about the energy, about getting that awareness and really changing your life for the better. So head over to MorningCoach.com. Get started. Check us out. See what we're doing. Just go to MorningCoach.com. Click that join button, and you can find out more about becoming a member of this wonderful community. All right, let's get back to the show. So we're going to talk a little bit about the system and how the system works and how you can thrive in the system. No matter what. It's been crazy, I know. Last few weeks in the United States, economically, things are in turmoil. But somebody's always making money, okay? And it's a mindset, and there's a way that you can handle and do things. And that's why, Morning Coach, I believe, is so important, because the way you handle your mind, the way you understand fear, the way you understand the markets, the way you understand what's happening in your life, specifically in two areas I think are really critical, health and wealth, it's life-changing, okay? And that's my job, is to help increase your awareness so that you have the ability to make the right decisions that are for you. So we're going to talk about living and thriving in capitalism today. Obviously, tomorrow we're going to talk about the psychology of money in the book, part 3 of our book study. If you haven't had a chance to listen to those, make sure you can find those in the playlist and catch up a little bit. Really good book. I'm enjoying this one. Wednesday, we're going to talk about keeping the emotions out and dealing with the rules, okay? We don't make the rules. We only play by them. Now, I see a lot of people get angry. I get it. I get angry too when the rules are changed. But we got to be aware of those rules. We're going to talk about that Wednesday and how do you handle that. On Thursday, I got a question on how do I handle employee worry and negativity? How do I handle it when my employees are freaked out, right? And things aren't working right. We're going to handle that on Thursday. Those of you that own companies, those of you that are running companies, have a few people you're working with, make sure you listen to Thursday. Friday, we're going to talk about finding ways to create value in daily life. So again, this is part of the big picture of thriving in capitalism. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Then Friday, we're going to talk even more about that and getting yourself positioned properly so that you can thrive in any economic situation, creating your own economy. Really believe in that. Saturday, Dr. Paul has been bringing bangers on longevity. Bangers is kind of the new kid word for like a good video or a good audio. I learned that on YouTube. Okay, I'm showing my age, banger, but it's a banger. A lot of words we don't use that I used to use. I use awesome a lot, right? But I guess that's kind of faux pas, out of style. But bangers is in style, so now you have a new word. But Dr. Paul's been bringing some great stuff on longevity. Was on CBS News the other day. Congratulations, Dr. Paul. Love to see you on the media and helping others, right? Getting that energy out there. And then Sunday, after Dr. Paul, we got being counterproductive, worry, focusing on what you can't control, and then learning to focus on what you can. So Sunday is going to be a good one. Obviously, we're slowing it down. We're enjoying life. That's the 20th of April already. After Sunday, I've got 7 days. The following Sunday will be my marathon. So really exciting times to be alive and to do things. But welcome. Excited that you're here. We've got to realize the main concept is that capitalism is a value-driven free market system. Okay? And it's really, really important to understand that. That means you're going to put value out there. It doesn't mean perceived value, meaning you may think something's really valuable. If you've ever watched any of the TV shows like the Pawn Stars, people come in and they're like, I got this coaster from World War II. It's worth millions of dollars, and it turns out to be some mass-produced thing that isn't worth anything. Value is driven by the market. It's not driven by what you think your value is. And that's a real problem in the market, for a lot of people overestimate or underestimate their value. I had this talk with a lot of my clients. A lot of clients underestimate their value. And value is very relative to the market. There's supply and demand economics, but we won't get too in depth on that. What we need to do is just understand that it's a value-driven free market system. So as you increase value, and how do you increase value? How do you increase your value? With ideas, creativity, imagination, adding skills. That's things that will do, and taking your talent and putting it out in the world. And then understanding that it is a free market system, that the market can be very fickle. So no matter how hard you work, and this is what gets really hard, you may be working extremely hard and not being rewarded for it. So we've got to use intelligence. That's why I always call what we do intelligent life design, to design things that are going to create revenue for us. And at the end of the day, it's life design. We're talking economics here. But the truth is, life is so much more than economics. You get to a point where money's not even an issue, but now you've got to deal with all kinds of things. More money, more problems, right? And so understanding relationships and spirituality and your own purpose, all of these things are so important. But today, we're talking about thriving in capitalism. So we need to know that, there are criticisms within the system. People have always criticized the system. They always will. There's all different types of economic systems, but we happen to live in a capitalistic society. So in order to do that, we need to understand that. And we've got to start to learn to think as a creator than a consumer. So the big mindset shift, again, if you're happy, and everything is going great, hey, I'm here to motivate you, get you energy, and get you going. But if you aren't, Okay, if things aren't where they want them to be, then we got to stop being such a consumer and start being a creator. What does that mean? We're looking for ways to create value in the marketplace. We want to build, invest, and grow skills and solve problems. Okay, so that's the basics. We're building, we're investing, we're growing, and we're solving problems, and we're growing our skill set. And you know what's great about this model, okay, is it's very, what do I want to say? It's very satisfying is the word that I'm looking for as you accomplish. So as you work hard, Zig Ziglar taught us this years ago, you don't pay the price, you enjoy the price. You know, I'm at that sub 20-minute 5K, which I never thought I'd be at, and it's fun. It's fun to win races. It's fun to win economically. It's fun to put energy out there and be the positive one. It's fun to kind of throw the life, vest to somebody and say, hey, put this on, and then see them change and realize that they can actually do things differently. And in order to do that, it's mindset. And I always tell you, again, this is why Morning Coach is so important. The majority of things that we're dealing with are mental. They're mental. You know, the market has been nuts, right? And people are, I'm losing. You haven't lost any money until you sell. It's a really, really psychological thing, right? So yeah, technically on paper, you've lost money, but if you haven't sold anything, you haven't lost. And historically, the markets have always come back. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to be a futurist and predict exactly what's going to happen. That's, again, mindset shift. Somebody's making money at all times, but it's the way you make money, the way you understand things work is really critical. Because if you can find ways to create value, money doesn't matter. You're just exchanging value for money. It's a mindset shift. And even if you're working for somebody, this is what's really critical. When you have the ownership ability, like you really are too valuable to let go of, like people need you that much, that's how you create value. People never want you to go. And then what happens is, as I did in my career when I was in corporate, is that I was so valuable that other companies started coming to me. Headhunters started calling me. You're good. You're great at what you do. We want you. Now going to the boss, hey, these people want me. They're willing to double my salary. What are you willing to do? Right? So it's this ability to create value is what's important. And as we do this, that's why, again, why Morning Coach is important, because a lot of this has to do with personal responsibility and the importance of self-organization. Because if you don't know what to work on, mission and vision, as we talked about earlier, if you're not getting the right coaching, the right mental mindset, you're not going to have the prosperity. You're just going to go from thing to thing to thing to thing. And that's not the answer. The answer is to get great at certain things. For example, I got committed to running, and now in my age group, I'm one of the elites in the world. Not just in the United States, in the world. You know, and I don't know where the rankings are, but if I can do 320, which is my goal in 2 weeks, 1,500 men qualify. Right, in the world. So let's just say I'm top 10,000 out of billions of people in the world. And I'm not an Olympic athlete. I'm not a running. I'm not a Kenyan. Right? Just think of that. How did that happen? By a mindset shift, saying I can do it. Yeah, there's some talent there. Obviously, I always say add skills to talent, but it's the work and knowing that, wow, I can be great at this. I know I can't be a master or a professional at golf. It's almost impossible. I've tried. I try to get good at golf. I've been down the single digits. There's no way I'm going to compete at an elite level. I found something through trial and error by doing our systems. Wow, I ran a 5K. I did good. Oh, ran a half marathon. Wow, I'm actually probably elite at this if I actually put my work into it. Choosing your priorities of where you're spending time results in massive rewards. And I want you to really understand that. And sometimes if you're smashing your head up the wall, like golf, 10 years or 8 years I played it, smashing my head up against the wall, not having fun, doesn't match my personality, the competitiveness not good, forcing it. But it's just not me. I'll go play and have fun now. But what I'm great at, and it's crazy, I can't even say I'm saying this, but it's true, is running. I'm winning everywhere, right? And so understanding prosperity is not just money, but understanding the value you create, contribution that you're creating, and finding those things that you're awesome at. And then having certainty to do it, and then you start to put the energy into it. Now, does it matter that sometimes the priority is going to be wrong? Yeah, I just told you, golf. For me, golf was wrong. It's not my sport. Am I a pretty good golfer? Yeah. I can hit the ball 290? Yeah. I don't have the time to dedicate it to be elite. Could I become elite? I don't know. Honestly. I don't know, but success leaves clues, emotional intelligence, awareness. What are you doing that's contributing to make your life better? What are you doing to have some fun and to become great at certain things? Okay? So how do we do that? PDCA, plan, do, check, act. It works in capitalism great. Plan, set financial and personal growth goals. That's what we do in December. That's what we're doing together. Do, take action, track progress. Golf. I want to be a single-digit handicap. I got there. Couldn't get any better. I could, but once you know, if you've played golf before, you get in a 6, 5, 6, 7, to get down to 4, 3, 2, 1, I mean, it's hard. And then we check, evaluate. Am I moving forward? No, last year I was checking in February. Something is off. I don't feel like a champion. I don't feel good. I don't feel like things are working. Then act, make adjustments, reinvest in growth. And you can do that and use that system to beat the system, right? Not only financially can you do that, you can do that in everything, every part of your life. That's why year after year, if you do this, eventually it's just like you put a new pair of glasses on. It's like, wow, okay, I'm getting it now. We're using a PDCA system to benefit my life, to get better at my life. And I know we have a lot of people with some age here. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can start right now because you start planning. You're like, this is my mission, my vision. Why am I doing other things? Stay focused, okay? Because once you get the PDCA loop working, it works. And how do you thrive? You're looking for opportunities, things that work for you. This worked. Wow, that worked. Okay, that worked. Good example, Facebook advertising and our remarkable device works. It works. Success leaves clues. Let's put more money in that. PDCA. We've tried other things. It doesn't work. Let's change. Plan, do, check, act. Engineering principle that we've applied that literally is life-changing. Okay? So your challenge for today is identify one way to shift from a consumer to a creator mindset. How can you not consume, but you can create? And start or refine a PDCA loop around something you're working on, health, business, finances. And if you need more about this, send an email in. Because I'm telling you, once you get this working in your life, it's going to work. Like you're just going to get better at things. Things are going to start working. You can thrive in any system if you understand how to play the game. That's what we're going to talk about this week. But in order to play the game, it's the individual responsibility to get better, for you to get better. So we want to stay engaged. You want to come here and listen because we're going to talk about the psychology of money tomorrow. We're going to talk about some ideas. It's really important you're getting the right information in your mind because at the end of the day, it's all mental. Once you have the right mental thought process, once you understand how to think, you can start to build and you can find those ways to become a champion. You can find those ways to, and again, becoming a champion might not be winning a race. Becoming a champion may just be talking to your 12-year-old daughter again. It may be getting your team fired and your staff working, like we're going to talk about Thursday. It may be finally figuring out that business structure. It may be finally working with that son that's been giving you a pain, all this time. PDCA works because we're looking at things that are going on, we're having the mindset shift, and we're working on things. So ILD concepts real quick, and then I'll let you get going. Understand that we want to create more than consume. We're all consumers, but we want to start creating. And it's personal responsibility of importance of the self-organization. What are you working on? What is your mission? What is your vision? And why are you working on things that aren't going to bring that true to you, right? And then if we're going to add something, let's do PDCA. Get it done now. Let's bring that plan in so we can start actually executing on it and make changes accordingly. That's what it's about. I'm going to get ready to run a 3-hour and 20-minute marathon in a few weeks. If it doesn't work, it's okay. I'm going to be much better for it. But if it does, I worked a plan. I'm going to go do it. And then guess what? I'm going to check. Did it work? Did it not? Just like I checked on the 5K. 6:30 start, 6:54 middle, 6:30 finish. What happened in the middle? Check. Act on it. Maybe work a little bit more on that middle structure. That's how you become great. And you can do this stuff. You can do it in all areas of life. Doesn't have to be just financial. All areas, relationships. Make a plan. How do you make your relationships better? Go do it. Then check. Is it working or is it not? Okay, let's act accordingly and make the changes. Man, you got this. I love you. I want to see you be so successful. I want you to feel the energy of winning. And winning is relative, right? It's all about your energy. And I want you to feel what that is. Okay, so let's get out there and have a great start of the week. It's going to be a great week. You need us get in the community. You know where to get us. And we're going to keep the energy flowing right here at MorningCoach.com. I love you, and I'll be with you tomorrow as we get into the psychology of money in our book study. Get that mind right today. Get that mind right. Okay, go do it today.